All right, give me just 1 second here. We'll get started. Bye bye, creepy Batman. Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 36 of my GEMP Game review series. I'm your host, Chris Gogolin. Hopefully, everybody had a good time yesterday despite the lackluster Super Bowl game. It was a defensive struggle, as they like to call it, and the commercials themselves were pretty underwhelming. But the OCS, which is often running here, has been anything but underwhelming so far. Actually, it's been overwhelming the amount of people we've had sign up. Last year, we had 47 season passes and then about another 15 people on average each month that would just pay the $10 and play. So we had about 60, 65 players each month. We are currently up to 76 people who have purchased a season pass. Plus, we've got another 5 or 6 who just paid the $10 entry fee. A lot of new players, newer to GEMP players. You've got some veteran players who just never made the transition into playing the online version. And you've got a number of newer players, players who didn't play last year, started to play just casually on GEMP, who are now picking up things from there. But I mean, we've got 76 season pass holders and another 6 or so people. Like I said, so we're already over 80 players. And if you take a quick look at the standings through the first 4 days here, no surprise, Tom has already played 10 of his 12 games, and Gavino is pretty close behind him. These guys just crank out games. That's what they do. Gavin's sitting at 6-2 right now. It's a pretty decent score. With this many people in the field, you need 10 wins. If you want to have a shot at qualifying, you need 10 wins. That's just kind of where it comes down to. Anything less than that, it's really going to be challenging. Even 10 may not get you there some months. I know we had people go 10-2 and not qualify, and I feel like there might have been a month where there were 3 guys who were like 11-1 or better, and one of them obviously didn't qualify, which is disappointing to have that strong of a month and finish third. So Chris Kelly sitting at 6-0 right now, certainly a good position. There's a couple guys, 4-2, 4-1, kind of got their work cut out for them. Quite a few guys down here at 3-0. A couple guys down here at 2-0. So certainly plenty of games left to be played, and still, February is a shorter month, and it's not a leap year or anything. So, but there's still a good 3.5 weeks left, and we just added a few more players today. I mean, look at this list of players here we've got now, and all these guys still yet to get started, really. So I'm sure we'll see plenty of OCS games being streamed. And of course, that means plenty of opportunities for you guys to send me your game links. So don't hesitate to send those on over. We'll pop into a quick game. Looks like let's see, Gavino cranking out another game, taking on Ryan Surson. We'll pop in on this game real quick and see what's going on. All right, so we got Gavino playing Hunt Down First Order against a Jedi training deck. Looks like Daughter tested to 3 so far. I don't know if that's just so far or if that's as far as she's planning on going. We got a nice big battle right about to take place here. They have the 6 ability required from test 2. And test 3 does let you subtract 1 from every single destiny that they draw. It is a may though, right? Yes, you may subtract 1. So it's not just like they're just -1. It's a you may subtract. So, and it's an optional modifier. So things like a dark time for the rebellion or imperial justice would prevent that from being applied. Mind What You Have Learned is not a deck we often see. It does put a number of cards on the table. It is a little slower in the setup because it you spend the first 3 or 4 turns, get Yoda out, get Daughter out, get your sights out, get your Jedi tests going, and in the meantime, your opponent has probably set up a bunch and done a bunch of damage to you, as we see by the fact he's got 15 cards in his lost pile to opponent only having 3. Between a Force Drain or 2 and, against Hunt Down, the Visage Ping is really what does it. But hopefully we get to see what's going on here. So we got a Jedi's Concentration being played. So no lightsaber swings. So no Maul, no Luke. Vane is going to activate a force. It's back to the light side now. Oh, looks like they passed. Hux is going to go pull a trooper. So this is dark side initiating this battle against these guys. So a good defensive interrupt with the Jedi's Concentration, preventing the beatdown here. Draw Destiny, subtract 1. Draw Destiny, subtract 1. You just be hovering over it. Click, 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 click. Alright, so we've got a 7 total, which is perfect because Solo and Rey both forfeit for 7. So light side's only losing 1 character. I can also use Yoda and subtract 2 from attrition if they needed to, because the Yoda's hut here, if Yoda here once per turn, subtract 2 from attrition against you at another location. Oh, and this is what Yoda does. If Great Warrior Table once per turn may take your just drawn Destiny into hand to cancel and redraw it. So he takes the Tantive into hand and draws Anakin instead. So he also reduced the attrition, even though he doesn't necessarily need to. So Darkseid wins the battle. So Phasma could retrieve a trooper if there was one in the lost pile to get. But yeah, Lightside's. So they both have. So Lightside's got 5 attrition, and Darkside's got to deal with 9. 9 is a rough number. 9 is 2 characters. And it's going to be Snoke and Hux. A well-placed Sorry About the Mess or Clash could be pretty rough here for Darkseid. That was their battle they initiated. They have no place to move away to. They could, if Lightside here could Sorry About the Mess Maul, or Clash Maul and Sorry About the Mess the Trooper, and just beat the crap out of, say, Phasma. That could certainly be a way to swing things in this game. But the OCS has been a great success so far. Certainly exceeded expectations. I think I commented on this the other night when I was streaming one of my own games being played. I know Wise has been streaming a number of his games. I caught one of those this morning. He had an unfortunate beatdown. There you go. So sorry about the mess. Now the question is he feeling lucky? He's going for Maul. Oh. And that's off to a very good start. And that'll do it. So that's going to get rid of Darth Maul here. So now Darkside's down to just 6 power and 1 battle destiny. And if they can find a way to exclude one of those 2 characters with like a clash or something, that could be pretty helpful. I mean, even without it, they should still be fine. Rey's immune to less than 3, less than 5 with Yoda, less than 6 with the test, basically. So there's a pretty good chance here they battle, swing, and hit one of these guys, draw Destiny. Oh. He's going to battle over here. Actually, they don't have enough ability to draw Battle Destiny because of Test 2. Test 2 says you need 6 ability to draw Battle Destiny. So the fact that these 2 add a Destiny together means they don't get one. Gavin's asking the same question in the chat and came up with the same conclusion that we just came up with a few seconds ago ourselves. He'll use Yoda's redraw text, and that will guarantee the hit. So Phasma just got whacked. And this is going to, without a Gick here, this is going to cause some serious overflow because we're probably looking at, you know, even if he draws low, he can cut the power down by 2. By canceling Luke's text, he's going to cancel Rey's text. So she doesn't add 1 to the total. I probably would have canceled Luke's text so he didn't have +2 power, but that would have saved him 1 force. 13 battle damage. FN covers 3, so that's going to be 10 overflow. And that could be pretty harsh to deal with. So, oh, he does have the Gick, so he's all set there. I would have to assume that light side has a Hoojix for this Qui-Gon battle. That's soon to be coming up, but we'll pop back out of this game for a second, just see what's going on back in the lobby. Yeah, looks like there's plenty of people, somebody else looking to get a light side game going, plenty of other people in here playing just regular casual games. Some of these guys are signed up for the OCS, so I'm sure they're probably just trying to test out some decks first, just find something they feel comfortable with before they start their OCS matches. But one of the games we are going to go ahead and review here was a game submitted to me from Jagteq. Thank you to Justin for sending that over. This particular game was just played about a week or so ago between Jagteq and Jared Napolitano. So let's go ahead. I'm clicking like I'm playing. Let's go ahead and get this game going. So we've got Jagteq playing light side as... I'm sorry, he's playing dark side as... it's weird that they're reversed here. They should be the other way. He's playing Endor Ops, and he's playing against Prophet. We'll see what kind of... Looks like it's going to be just more of a standard Prophet. Sometimes we've seen people playing the new Jedi's Business version of Prophet with the Ep1 characters, and then you can use Master Luke and things like that. Interesting version. I haven't played it myself yet, but it seems pretty good on paper. Endor Ops, we saw a few of these at the Endor Grand Prix, thematically enough. Usually what they've been doing is using Kuat to pull Mustafar, use Mustafar to pull Vader's castle, and then just pull like one other system, and that's kind of most of your force activation, and then you get your 2 effects out and flip, and then you just kind of play in space and get some good drains in. So he's going to get the Endor bunker, ominous rumors, the kind of stuff that you need to flip. Grab Ozzel, because you have to control the bunker to deploy one of these. If opponent controls no Endor sites, you can deploy ominous, and then the bunker, deploy on bunker if you control that site. Okay. So he spends 2, puts ominous out. He spends 2 to get Mustafar. The castle is not in there, so it must be in his force pile, so I'll have to get that next turn. I'll slow him down a little bit, but not too much. Oh, he does not opt to deploy, and because you could just throw Ozzel down and flip and whatnot, but he's going to take it a little slower. It's not a bad idea. Light side usually has a couple of spies these days between Corran Horn, who was always in every deck, and now you've got Jyn Erso, who's in most light side decks. So I have no problem here with him slow playing it a little bit and holding off on the Ozzel until he's ready to commit some more ground forces. It's more of a space-heavy deck. We do see Vader's lightsaber, though, so it must be some type of Vader plus I'm Your Father floating around in here somewhere. He probably started Decree over I Am Your Father, which also makes sense in this particular matchup. And light side's just going to get their farm, drop their boss nests, and and do some drawing of their own. He'll take a peek, find out that his castle is in there. You can also look and see which pilots he could match for. Prophet is not known for having much space, so I would expect Darkside to go to space very quickly and be a little bit more conservative with the ground. Yeah, we saw I'm their father, a couple of matching ships, and then we'll go Saber 1 and Baron. Now, is he going to play it more conservative? Nope, he's going to play the aggressive approach. Go right to Kashyyyk, and then if he can get... He's going to do Ozzel Thrawn, Ozzel Minkun. Okay. Nope, he's going to put Establish Sheikah base first. Potato. Obviously, Ozzel's not staying there by himself. Alright, Ozzel is staying there by himself. If Ozzel was staying there by himself, I would have seen putting Ozzel down last turn and putting the Establish out. Maybe he just didn't want to give his opponent the opportunity to spend a turn 1 responding, but now you've given him the opportunity to deploy a whole couple extra cards, get more force generation, and draw a few more cards to respond to your Ozzel. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anakin going to get new Anakin's lightsaber. Yay, set 10, Anakin's lightsaber. Doesn't do anything fancy, anything different than any really the other lightsabers. It just goes on Anakin, Luke, or Rey. And he's going to grab the leadership. Prophet can also usually be known for playing Sense and Alter, or at least mostly Sense. If he's had a chance to verify his opponent's deck, so if he hasn't pulled a Sense Shield, I'm guessing it's because he didn't see anything that would give him that indication. But a big quick drain of 4. It's not going to be quite as damaging as you would hope. He didn't pull Coward. He's going to get it now. Timing there was slightly off. Lightside could have taken their action and released Han and just retrieved the 5 cards that they've lost so far. But with them having 17 force and whatnot, that does seem a little bit riskier. So it wasn't... it should have been out before he drained because of the fear of the instant retrieval. But it certainly is a riskier play. Oh, and a good move by Jared over there. He's burying Vader, so Vader will be stuck on Blizzard 4. So he will not be able to get off, get his lights. I mean, he can still get the lightsaber, but he can't get off. Won't be able to use its weapon or add extra power. I believe his game text would still work. All that stuff should still be fine. And it's just at same site, so he can still blank someone's text even from inside the vehicle. And then he's going to play it safe and move Ozzel over. That's fine. He only needs, he's only draining at 1 system right now anyway, so. And he'll draw 3 cards. So that all seems pretty reasonable and realistic so far. What do you guys think? I always like to see comments in the chat, so I'd just like to throw some questions out there sometimes to you guys. Just feel free to type back answers, type questions, type comments. We like to see you guys typing, just to let us know you're alive and actually, watching, participation. Oh. All right, so light side gets the second battleground by deploying Leia, and they're going to grab the barrier. Leia gets barriered. We'll see what other characters they might have. They also have the ability to pull the weapons display shield. That would exclude. Oh, he had Leia's blaster. He was going to shoot Blizzard 4. And we got an Obi Kenobi, virtual. Master Luke's going to go there. Get a used pile pull. He pulled Ultimatum now. He's at 3 battlegrounds. And he's just going to draw a card. Darkside's going to pull the firepower shield, but will not be able to retrieve because they don't control a ground site. This one they only occupy, so no retrieval. I suspect that after Lightside gets drained here, which will be capped at 2 because of Ultimatum, then they'll probably free Han. He top decks 2 cards. Nope. Still playing this one pretty close to the vest. There's Grievous. Grievous is going to get hit with the barrier. Jared just exchanged Leia and a surprise assault to get the barrier back out of his lost pile. And now we're going to see Min Kun. Once per game, a use when forced to place opponents just played interrupt out of play. So he's going to put that barrier out of play now, so Lightside can't get it back again. But that doesn't cancel it. So Grievous is still barriered. Now Darkside's looking at a situation. Battling Luke is good. Battling at the docking bay would be bad right now. You want to get Vader out first, especially with Leia's blaster there. You don't want to, unless you can find a way to make your opponent spend force. Well, that worked out pretty well. Target adding a second battle destiny should clear both Luke and 3PO. Oh. He drew a 2, which is right at the number he can't redraw. That's a little unfortunate, because now he's just going to get Luke. And now he's going to have a choice to make. Which one does he keep? I would probably keep Tarkin. You probably have more Imperials floating around. Yeah, it's certainly possible. You know, Home 1 is a ship that we do see float around in Profit from time to time, just as a way to keep them honest. A lot of people weren't running that for a while, and then, you know, some other guys started playing Profit and started floating it in his deck, and some people seem to really like that idea and at least give her a shot. It really came out of just anger and frustration. So when you lose a game by less than 5 cards and your opponent turn 1 just goes like DS612 and black 2 to like Kashyyyk and sits there just draining for 2 the whole game, and you're like, that's the only thing he's got there, then you really wish you had just like one ship you could just drop on him and just smack him in the face and make him regret trying to do that all game. So that's kind of where that Home 1 thing comes from. All right, so Chewie's going to get deployed from reserve deck with Seeking an Audience. Then he's going to free Han and retrieve, because once you free Han, you can't deploy guys from reserve anymore. And now we've got a Jedi Luke and a lightsaber. You notice that Master Luke did not have a lightsaber, so Grievous had nothing to steal. Yeah, Leia got barriered the first turn, so Leia was going to come down with the gun and shoot the Blizzard 4 that had Vader stuck inside, but Leia got barriered, wisely so. But we've got draw their fire out, so now we've got draw their fire, retrieving one, and General Leia retrieving one. So light side could retrieve basically every card they've lost so far, which is one of the benefits of Prophet, its ability to retrieve cards and offset the early game damage. Um, is pretty outstanding. And then we're going to get a Jedi's Concentration, which just says lightsabers may not be used for the remainder of battle. So Luke can't swing and Vader can't swing, but Leia can still shoot her gun. And that is a hit because it's Destiny +1 greater than defense value. So Blizzard 4 is out of here. That'll take 8 power away from the dark side, +5 forfeit. So basically it's a 13 different swing. Vader cancels Chewie's game text before Chewie could cancel Ozzel's game text and withdraw their fire out. Even if Darkseid had an interrupt, they couldn't play it. So Draw Their Fire is a great card that does not get played nearly enough. And maybe we might see come back in more light side decks, especially with the way routes your op seems to be exchanging and looping interrupts. And I saw that watching a game this morning. I think it's like I'll play You Are Beaten and exclude a guy, and then I'll battle and I'll draw Destiny, and I'll exchange a card I don't need anymore and get my You Are Beaten back. And you're like, that's gonna get annoying really quick. So having Draw Their Fire to possibly force them to have extra force to play those interrupts, or to make them lose more cards, could certainly be a mild counter strategy for that. So, like, not a great situation here to be in. You've got these guys over here who aren't doing a whole lot. Now, you did get them off down to just 2 battlegrounds, so Ultimatum is not in effect. So there's that benefit that Jagteq has going for him. This is going to be a drain of 4 because Ominous here, I believe, just says Occupy. Yep, just says Occupy. So Vader sitting here still occupies. So he's got a drain of 4 and a drain of 2. So that's pretty solid. 6 damage there. But the problem is that he's got nothing to back up Vader. He does have a Gick, so Vader can kind of hang out, take a swing at someone, try and take 2 characters out in the ensuing battle, but he's going to allow his opponent to retrieve 2 cards in the interim. So it's almost be better just moving Vader into the bunker at this point. You still get controlling a site, so you can still get the drain bonus up here. These guys have, this guy over here kind of trapped. They don't want to move out into that. So what you're really being worried about right now would be Nabern. These 3 people moving to Jabba's palace. They can't move into the bunker because of the text on the bunker. You may move here only from back door. That does include Nabern, so you can't do that. So get your 4 strains in. Vader run away. So maybe you could, even the guys you can match for aren't that great, but I think that's just Saber 4. I don't think there's the matching pilot for that. A bunch of high destiny interrupts and a sorry about the mess go off the top. And then we'll see 2 more. Yep, smart. Move Vader away. The other option would be to battle with Vader just so you could do the 1 Draw Their Fire damage and try and get Vader off Endor, but I don't really like that play. I'd rather just move him inside, keep your 4 strain bonus, and see where the game goes from there. There you go, short range. See what you can find to match up with. A whole lot of nothing. So you got Mienda in there and Boba Fett. And the problem is now is that when you draw and you draw into one of their ships like that, unless you almost don't activate any, you're probably going to activate past the pilot. Oh, there you go, Tarkin's Bounty. That'll be perfect. dark maneuvers. So there's a nice 6/5 that he just stacked together. Could come in handy a little later for Battle Destiny. 10 cards down. Write that down. In the meantime, Jared's he's got drains of 2 and 2, and then he'll do 1 damage from the objective because of Imperial Decree. So he can reduce that. So he's losing 5. So he's doing 6 damage to his opponent currently, 7 if Vader gets the drain in the bunker. So he's doing 7 a turn and taking 5 back. Oh, now we've got... Yeah, this is going to get a little dicey. This is going to get a little rough. It's the problem with Prophet is that, when you battle them on the ground, they've a number of really good characters, and they just have ways to just, between a little bit of retrieval and, their little tricks and destiny adders and excluding and, ugh. So you got Lando adding a battle destiny because he's on Tatooine, but he's limited to 1 from the objective, so that doesn't actually come into play. But Lando can exclude, and whichever character he excludes, that'll certainly be a problem. And Darkseid will end up getting outpowered. He's going for Grievous. And he draws a 5 to do it. Well, that's old school, quite a mercenary. Right? It's not even the V virtual one. That's just if Elish completed a transport, make everybody lost. So we tried to exclude Grievous. Grievous had the higher power and forfeit. It might have been a riskier play. It was a high risk, high reward strategy. The Vibro X is if your destiny plus 4 is greater than their power plus destiny. You're both kind of playing, similar mains and stuff style decks. He has a couple characters in there. We do know that because we saw what when he looked for the ship, there were a couple characters floating around in there. He could have possibly drawn low. I would have gone for Tarkin. It's a higher success rate, and just excluding one character and kind of beating up on the other one certainly seems a little bit more worthwhile at this stage of the game. Light side's actually ahead on force now after having the slower start. They've got fewer cards in the lost pile and more remaining life force. You got 17 for dark side and 25 for light side, and obviously he's got more cards in his hand, but still. Oh, he does use command to add a destiny. Smart move, smart play. Dark side can draw more than one. Light side just can't because of the Endor objective. Draws low. He draws a close call. And that'll be just enough to get Rey. Which is okay, because Lightside kind of wants to lose Rey and retrieve Rey and then, redeploy Rey. And we're left with Lando and Grievous. But something tells me Lando might move away. Yep, Lando's going to move out to the farm by himself. Still maintains the 3 battlegrounds to mitigate the extra 2 force loss with Ultimatum. And it also now gives him another character at a battleground for the profit objective. Which will still be reduced to 1 at this point, though. He can add with the drain, but it does still get capped at 2. Jared's going to top deck some cards. Padme and Leia. Top decking characters, always good thing to see when you force drain. There's less guys that you have to worry about coming after you later. So uh, these types of games usually are close. Usually they're less than 10 games, meaning one person wins plus or minus 10 force. But Tarkin did die. Oh, he does have the matching DS. He gets the command back to add the Destiny. I think I would have preferred to see him get a pilot and get a second space drain at one of these other systems. And he 3PO's the card back. Okay, so he's just going to just throw the Onyx down and play his God 7th defensive shield. And just take his chances as to whether or not Jared has any forces, any starships. And you'd pretty much have to commit his whole turn to do it anyway. Home 1 would cost 13 to Endor and then 1 to battle. That would pretty much be everything he would do. It means he's not force draining. He's not deploying or battling anywhere else. He's just, committing Home 1 or another bigger ship. Um, Even if it's something smaller like a booster and pulsar skate or something, you'd still have to commit 8-9 force to do it, which means he's not paying to drain. So that might not be a bad trade-off, especially with the Gick in hand. And if you see your opponent force draining you, well, then you can feel a little more comfortable that he probably doesn't have something to come after you with. And I guess he did save some force here, because this one does deploy as a react. Nice solid stack of 4s and 5s. Pilot, where you have a tie, it deploys for free where you've got a guy with a Saber Squadron, which is nice, but he does still have 5 force, and Krennic is a pilot, and he did leave himself 5. So this isn't completely defenseless out there, this little Onyx 2. So that's a good play by Jagteq. He left himself an out, but still is threatening more board pressure. I like that move. Yeah, it's always fun to see just how many defensive shields you can fit on the board at one point. That's why I always try I throw my picture up in like the top right hand corner because I'm like, nobody's ever gonna have this many cards. It's like I would love to see, some defensive shields covering up my face. All right, we're gonna get a battle here. Knew he was gonna hit it because obviously we checked and he had a 4s and 5s. So Grievous is gonna go away. Oh, I was Weapon Destiny. Sorry, a little ahead of myself. So he tried to exclude him after he played the command, see if he could end the battle. It did not work. Lando forfeits for 6, so he covers up to 14 total. 9, 15. So Lando in a card. That's not bad. He just retrieved 1 for initiating the battle. Would draw their fire anyway, so. But most importantly, Grievous dies. Oh, and we got BB-8 out now. If at a battleground site and present with a resistance character, opponent loses 1 force. So now we've got an additional stream of force loss here between the objectives, the drains, and now the BB-8. This is a nice touch. I like this BB-8 edition that people have been using in Profit for a couple of years now, especially with this Leia and Rey. it gives you one more source of damage that you don't have to pay for, and it's a little bit more reliable than, say, something like a good blaster at your side. Plus, it also has the benefit of getting around the map objective, which says you can't retrieve, whether on the flip side, unless BB-8 is on the table. So it's kind of a nice little uh, multi-use strategy. You get a lot of mileage out of a very low cost card with a high destiny. It could be worse. Oh, he saved 4 force and he used it to reduce the drain with it could be worse. And that may be a circumstance, a card like that, where he might regret grabbing the rebel leadership. So he still gets decent drains in. He misses out in the big drain at Kashyyyk, but he still gets 5 total between the uh, Emperor, Vader, and Onyx 2. That puts light side down to 15 and 3, so 18 total force, while dark side is sitting at about the same, 10, 14, 20. Yeah. And this will just be an activate, pay, drain, do damage kind of turn. If you have a feeling we're probably done with interaction between these two people for the next couple of turns, I don't think we're going to see. Well, obviously, the Emperor can't move over, and Fett doesn't do anything by himself, and I doubt we'll see uh, Han move in front of the Emperor so we can get Force Lightning. So I'm feeling these guys are just going to be at a stalemate for a while, and Vader has no real motivation or incentive to move over here to block said drain of 2. This is kind of a thing where it's just going to be a race and see who can put out more damage. And obviously, a card like it could be worse is going to be something that kind of could change the outcome. So use Seeking an Audience and put that out of play to retrieve an alien. Usually it's intended to get Han back. It does have the added benefit of Lando with Vibro Axe being a retrievable character. Um, Chewie with Bowcaster is also another one that you can get. He was playing Chewie Protector in this particular version, but Chewie with Bowcaster would be another character that you could retrieve back with that. And there's that. It could be worse again. He only had 2 force available this time, so he reduces the drain by 2, but he's got 3 battlegrounds. So Ultimatum's going to cap this one anyway. Very wisely, we'll pause for a second here. Um, Ultimatum says, just a weird little interaction here. Ultimatum says you lose no more than 2 force to each force drain. So if he drains for 4 here and you play it could be worse to reduce it by 2, you still have to lose 2 cards because you haven't lost any force yet. You've prevented the force loss with the it could be worse. So Ultimatum ultimately wouldn't do anything in that situation. So he used the it could be worse on this drain of 2 here, and then Ultimatum caps this one at 2 over here. So he saves himself the same 4 card loss, but he only had to pay 2 to do it. So if you can get Ultimatum out, that would be the way to do it. Doing it on the bigger drain ends up getting you nowhere, and you still have to lose force. So just remember that little pro tip. Rules interaction, whatever you want to call it. He can add to the drain, but the Ultimatum does cap the force loss at 2. Emperor's going to force lightning used on Boba Fett just because he needs to basically put more cards back. And he's going to throw Saber 4 and Krennic down to Mustafar to try and get one more source of damage. Um, and that'll be a thing. Obviously, his opponent's got a small hand and very few life force left. You're thinking to yourself, well, it's profit. Why wouldn't he have, committed to space earlier or something like that? He got the one ship set up. Why didn't he get a second system set up sooner? Um, and that's a very good question and a very good point. We don't know what exactly he got to see. We kind of went through the replays, go through a little quicker. You don't always get to see and analyze when your opponent gets to verify what he saw. I mean, you see leaderships and you start thinking, oh no, you might have Home One Akbar or Radis and like a Corvette, um, or Radis and Tantive or something like that. So obviously there was some concern, and that's why Jagteq may not have spread in space as quickly as he can. But you had to Gick, so it would almost be worth it, and then it would give you someplace else to battle in space, to commit some forces, keep some guys off the ground. A lot of your characters are better in space if you're dark side. Boba Fett doesn't do a whole lot on the ground. Boba Fett in space, pretty good power in adding a destiny and stuff. So, but they're getting pretty low on force here. We've got drains of 2, 4 total. If you could pay for this one, that would be 5. 6 from the objective and 7 from the BB-8 ping. So dark side's losing 7 cards a turn, and light side, between their good use of the it could be worse, have kind of limited their force loss. And 3PO living certainly also changed that and kind of has let uh, Jared loop that card back around. If Jagteq asked me one of the one things that you could do differently in this game, well, there's two. One would be not grabbing Rebel Leadership, because may or not be the best card to get in this deck. Usually there's a few other interrupts that are problematic. The second one would be he had an opportunity when the Emperor was here to force lightning 3PO, and that maybe have been a very good play as well to stop his opponent from cycling cards, especially when he was getting fairly low. I think he's probably offset about 8 to 10 damage right now with this. It could be worse, which is all the force that he has remaining. Now we're at a kind of a situation here where Darkseid doesn't have to pay for their drains, because obviously with battle order out. So light side is going to start to get squeezed into a position where they can't afford to pay for everything that they want to do. Now they do still have a couple sources of damage that don't require paying between the objective and the BB-8, but it may not be quite enough here. I would definitely throw Tarkin down in front. Put him down in front of Lando and just kind of block that situation. I would battle. I would take the draw their fire swing. Yep. Pay 1, retrieve 1, make him lose 1 more card. It's very important here because you see he had 6 force left. That would let him pay to drain in 2 spots by forcing him with no cards in hand down to 5. Now he can only pay to drain once, so you've just saved yourself 2 cards by doing that. He is going to try and exclude him, though, and end the battle. This could go poorly. If Tarkin gets excluded, then light side would have the ability to counter battle and to retrieve. Oh, but they both draw the same, so he's not going to get excluded, which is a blessing for Darkseid. And now they'll get to draw Destiny and clear Lando. So it's going to be a small win here for Darkseid. So, but like I said, these games are both kind of less than 10 games. I mean, He's got 1 in hand and 9 face down, and he's going to get drained. He's going to get pinged. He's going to lose at least 4 more cards. Yeah, he goes ahead and concedes because that would be the game there. But yeah, I mean, Lando dies. Tarkin has nothing to do. Light side, they've got their 5. They activate all of it. They pay 3 and they drain for 2. They ping for 1. They ping for 1 with BB-8. So they get 4 more cards. They peel off a dark side. So they take them down to, you can throw the Gick away probably at that point. And then, so he wins by 6. So if you're in, a match play scenario, a loss by 6 is pretty realistic, pretty easy to come back from. But that it could be worse certainly made the game a lot closer. Certainly a reason you'll see people from time to time play the Omnibox. It's worse combo card. Not only does it cancel that, it also shuffles their deck. It's got multiple functions, and it's a nice used 5 that's easy to put back. So thank you to Jagteq for submitting that game review. We'll pop back over to the GEMP lobby in just a second. Thank you to Jared as well for being a participant as with the game review. We always like to see these types of matchups. Interactive game played by both players, and again, it came down pretty close. Um, you know, Darkside could have spread out just a little bit more in space a little sooner, depending on what they had seen, or even if they wanted to just take the risk with the Gick in hand. And Lightside really needed their neighbor, and that's really what it came down to. They got a bunch of their characters kind of all stuck here together, going for that big beatdown that they didn't quite get to materialize on. Um, and as a result, couldn't get some of these characters back to Tatooine to clear this extra site out, and then give themselves the ability to push them off these Tatooine battlegrounds to keep them from, satisfying battle plan and make them have to start paying for their space drains. That's kind of what Lightside needed to do to win that one. So thanks to those guys. Let's pop back over to the GEMP lobby real quick. Let's go look at leagues. We were looking at. All right, so Gavino moved up from 20 to 23, so it looks like he won that game. He looks like he was in pretty good board position and ahead on that one. Gornal, does Profit need space? I think you kind of need at least one ship. I really do. I think if you don't have one ship, then your opponent doesn't have to play honestly. And whether that ship is a capital like a home one that has the immunity and costs a lot to put out, or whether it's something smaller like a booster and pulsar skate, Rick and Queen's starship, and then you've got room for a pilot and has some lower immunity to it. That's kind of more of a personal preference. It kind of depends on your other characters. Yeah, having a landing claw with the starfighters is certainly good because there's a number of light side capitals or dark side capital ships floating around out there, capital decks. Especially Imperial Entanglements. It starts the Devastator on the table. You've got Invasion, which starts the Blockade flagship. But those decks also do tend to run usually 1 or 2 Gick combos. So getting caught when they cancel your landing claw can be just as dangerous sometimes if you're not careful. So looks like we got 2 other games going on here. We'll pop in. Oh, Stevie Getz and Werfs. I understand they played earlier today. Oh, no, it was Reed who played Werfs earlier today. So we've got Throne Room against ISB. We're not going to stay long on this game because it's going to be boring. But he is at least using Jedi Business, which is one of the new cards. So I did want to pop in, and sometimes you see different variations in the builds. You get to see different cards. So this particular one here, obviously he's playing with the Nightclub and the Episode 1 Jedi. Probably also you can either run Pilot Luke or EPP Luke would probably be the better one. You could do like EPP Luke and Rey, and then a couple of Jedi and their matching weapons. So you get the Nightclub as your good, solid 2/2 pullable location. Also happens to work out fairly well against ISB if you can get another battleground site out somewhere to get 2 battlegrounds. Then you can start draining at the square for 3. That's just the docking bay. But we see some Weeses, and we see a Boss Nash chamber, so hopefully there's the battle planes in here too for Werfs, and then he can get the 2 ground drains set up, and then possibly get to this 3rd location. If he had a Lieutenant Blount, that would be even better. Don't necessarily that he does, because Blount just has to be at a course on location, I believe. So Blount could go hang out with Mace. But in the meantime, he's got this stacked Executor. He could, if he needed to, again, he could lower people to the docking bay from the bridge, and then docking bay transit them to Coruscant, and then they could walk into the nightclub here. But yeah, we'll see him probably do this in 2 stages. I doubt we'll see Steve move Vader over. Doesn't seem like that would be the likely candidate. He'll set up the Blizzard 4 with Vader for now, and then next turn he'll probably drop 1 or 2 other guys and then move Vader over to them, so we'll have a pile of characters in here. He just doesn't have enough force. He's only getting 11 a turn to do all that at once, so you have to kind of do it in stages, and this is a very secure thing to do at step 1, and then step 2 would be to back it up with a couple other guys. But it is going to, light side is putting a lot fewer cards on the table than dark side is, and at least for now, they're kind of trading off drains. I mean, it's a drain of 2 versus a drain of 3. ISB's flipped, they can retrieve an agent, so they're kind of just, treading water here, both just doing small little points of damage to each other, and this may certainly be a game where these timers run pretty low. We're also take a peek in. We got Brad Kipple, who just joined this morning, the OCS. Not really known as an online player. Another one of the guys who's advanced on here in the platform. Oh, it also happens to be his very first GEMP game. So it looks like he's learning as he goes, and very nice of his opponent to kind of give him some uh, informational purposes about how to actually do some of the basic functions and mechanics. It only takes like 2 or 3 games just to learn some of the little nuances of GEMP. Like it doesn't automatically just drain for 3 at a location. It's like you've got 2 icons and a lightsaber. When you initiate the force drain, you have to click on the lightsaber to do the optional may add 1 to a force drain actions. And those take a little getting used to. So, but it's nice to see the community where we're in these days. Guys, they encourage each other, give them the right tools and things like that. 90%, we'll say 90% of the player base. It's probably a little higher than that. It's probably only like 1 or 2% that are just like, oh, that sucks for you. You don't know how to do that. You should have thought about that before you signed up and joined this game. Um, that's just that 1%, that 1 or 2, people who they just have a very strict interpretation of the rules in the game, and that's how they prefer to play. So, and I don't fault them for that. Obviously, the rules are there, and you want to play the game, learn how to play before you show up to play. So, but there's certainly plenty of other people who are willing to, give you a little coaching, a little technical advice about how to do things as you're playing in a much more casual, laid-back atmosphere. So both approaches are completely fine, however you prefer to play. I think you'll find that the vast majority of players are not as rules intensive as we once were. So, but obviously we're going to get more OCS game links and continue doing reviews. So please feel free to submit those to me through PM through the forums. Also, while you're on Twitch, checking out our page here, be sure to make sure that you're on the PC page. Make sure you hit the heart to follow. That way you'll get notifications and updates. You can turn that off. There's a little slider when you click the button to do it. But if you hit the little heart, it gives you notifications. That'll give you an email. It says, so and so just started streaming live. So then you kind of, if you forget about something or you didn't realize that we were doing a live stream, sometimes we just do them impromptu. You'll get that. And then, of course, if you have the Amazon Prime account, you can link that to Twitch, and then you get one free subscription. Your subscription is a monthly subscription. You click the other purple button that says subscribe, and then the PC gets like $2 for every subscription that we get on a monthly basis. Twitch gives you a subscription for free if you have an Amazon Prime account, so you're not paying anything, and we're getting $2 for it. So it does kind of add up, and then it's a little more money for the PC that lets us continue doing some of the great things that we like to do. You'll also see below the game screen here there are some other panels. You've got the Players Committee page. You've got Wise's Twitch page. You've got my YouTube page. I have to add my Twitch page to that because I do a lot of Twitch streaming as well. And of course, I would love it if you guys followed me over there. More followers is always a better thing. But this seems like this game is well in hand for Jared here. He's got space and ground satisfied. They're both kind of losing to Visage. Maul might take a little bit of a beating here, so we'll stick this one out for just a second and see how this battle goes. With 9 cards in hand, there's a pretty good chance he's got a Gick or you are beaten or something, force push to get himself out of this battle. But we'll see this one through before we hop on out of here. And when I'm done here, I will go add the link to my Twitch page as well. But like I said, Wise is down there as well. If you're not following him, please, I'm sure Tom would appreciate that. Tom is trying to stream all 12 of his OCS games this month and potentially all 84 OCS games that he plays over the next 7 months. Tom will probably play all 84. So he did last year. He's one of the handful of players that played every single game. So 7-1 cracks Chewy. He missed Maul with the first swing. Phantom Menace is out. Oh, and he had Search and Destroy going as well. Look at that extra points of damage. Oh, he just gets him. So that will slow things down a little bit, but Kipple's kind of on life support here. 14 cards, only 1 card left in hand. He's about to be losing to Visage damage again because Vader's going to be at a battleground. And Qui-Gon won't. Well, he's still losing to Visage. Darkseid's about to stop losing to Visage is really more what I meant to say there. Well, he misses. As long as he doesn't draw a 0 here, though, Qui-Gon will still die to the attrition. But Jared's going to need the Gick, otherwise he's going to take a lot of overflow here. He's already looking at 5 plus whatever the difference is between these Destiny draws. And Lightside gets 2 because Qui-Gon adds 1 with Maul. Maul gets to swing twice. Qui-Gon gets that second Destiny. So 8 and 5, 13. Probably draw like a 4 or 5. That's a 3. So Darkseid's down 10. So it's going to be a Gick or peel 10 cards. And that could be just enough to make a difference. Darkseid still has a lot better board position. And Lightside's kind of looks like they're out of characters in hand. I mean, they got 1 card left. What could it? But they could draw a few, but there goes Maul. That'll put the Phantom Menace back. It'll also cancel Search and Destroy. Kind of bold playing Search and Destroy when he only has 1 battleground. Maybe he's got one of the flagship sites or something floating around in there, or a presence of the Force to turn one of these two O's into a battleground. That might make a little more sense. He does have the Gick, so I think it's safe to say uh, that Jared's going to go ahead and win this game here because he's draining 2 and 2 and doing 2 points of visage damage per turn. So Kipple's going to lose 6 before he even gets to go again. He was only at 15 to begin with, so that seems like a safe win for Jared. Let's see if these guys made any progress on their game that's slower than dirt. Well, looks like we did have an interactive battle. We had Vader sitting at the document with image of a Dark Lord, -2 of Vader controls an adjacent site. That's what they're talking about in the chat there. So he was, like he said, he was loading up some guys and he was going to move over, and he's like, wait, I can just throw image there and then make that drain -2. And then he's now ahead in the drain race. He's draining for 2 and possibly retrieving an agent and only getting drained for 1 back. Probably the agent that he's going to lose to then retrieve. But Lightside did have a few spies of their own. We got Corran Horn, General Kenobi, and Rey. Excuse me. Yep. Did they get stuck? Oh, they're just paused. There was an issue the other night where games were getting frozen. That was unfortunate. A couple people in OCS games had to have them canceled and replayed. So if you ever do get a Twitch bug like that, be sure and make sure you report it on the PC forums so that we can find out exactly what's going on and get that fixed. Oh, this was Lightside's battle. Looks like they're doing pretty well hitting and clearing, guys. It's going to take a little while. We also got Paul Myers jumping into a game with Dorsch, throwing him versus Hunt down. That'll probably be decided. The outcome of the game will be decided by like turn 3 or turn 4. It'll just take them 4 more turns after that to reach that conclusion. Hunt down, throne room, typically whoever gets, or Hunt down Hitco, kind of the same thing. Whoever gets to that first battleground and really digs in and forces the opponent to kind of come after them, and then who hits who with lightsabers in that first big battle, that pretty much dictates the outcome of the game. You can pretty much tell by turn 4, Light side puts Luke and one guy out, and dark side comes down with Maul and Doctor E and clears Luke and dig like after that. Light side's not digging back in through Maul and Doctor E and whoever at that site. But plenty of games going on right now, and then of course there's the other leagues. You've got the sealed leagues and other constructed and this classic Death Star 2 non-V format. So if virtual cards aren't your thing, there are other formats for you. There's Endor Death Star 2 sealed. There's a glitch in that one. Don't join the league until after it actually starts, otherwise you don't get your packs. And it's a pain in the ass to fix. But I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys all very much for watching. As always, we'll be back next week. Same time here. The 7 o'clock time seems to do a little better for some people. So let's get a few more people on, let you guys be a little more interactive, which is kind of what I enjoy. So I'm not just in here talking to myself, at least get some feedback from you guys and kind of what you want to see and what we can do and look at. Also tend to be a few more OCS games going. I mean, they're going on all day between all the different parts of the world people are playing in. But, I find evening time, East Coast time, is when you see the bulk of the OCS games taking place. So, yep, JNAP wins that game. But again, thank you guys very much. We'll see you back here next Monday, 7 p.m. And everybody take care and have a good night.